Welcome IBRAHIM MAALOuf to Kulturport Lounge at Elbjazz Festival. And we are very happy to have you here today because you made the rain go away and let the sun shine on us, which was a beautiful...
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
It was a beautiful performance that we could witness here just a moment ago. And you left all the happy people. And we had like a trip through rock, jazz, oriental scales, Cuban music, Latin music. What else was in there?
Hard rock,
yes.
funk.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you come from Lebanon and you come from Beirut.
Yes.
And you have like a classical education. So how come you didn't turn into a classical trumpet player?
I actually do. I mean, yeah. I also do classical music. You know, I keep. I mean, I was. My music education was classical Occidental music, and classical and traditional Arabic music. So this is like my both mother languages in music, and I would say. I mean, I grew up with in my generation. I mean, you know, playing only classical music would be like playing music from museums, you know. I need to live with people who are living today. I mean, I like the feeling that we're creating a music that is the music of today, not the music of the past, you know. Even though I really respect a lot traditional things and traditional music and traditional. I teach in conservatoire also, you know. I like the idea that we have to teach a school with rules also, you know, this kind of things. But after that, you need to have your own wings and the travel around the world. So this is what I like to do the most, even though I did not quit all the rest.
There are people who grow up in classical music and they turn out to be a concert pianist or concert violinist or whatever.
This is basically what I was going to do. I mean, if everything was normal, but I'm not so normal, so I guess that was something is wrong somewhere. So.
We saw that. Anyway, you're not like coming to the music without a past. You know, your parents are deeply into music,
yeah.
And maybe you can tell me about your father, how he influenced your upcoming as a kid.
My father taught me a very strict education at home. He was very, very strict. I mean, if you're that strict nowadays, you might go to jail, you know. So yeah, so it was. Yeah, I mean, and I'm alive, so everything is fine. But it was very, very strict. So that was like, you know, the kind of old, you know, like old Russian strict schools. He was like that, and he taught me music this way. But I was very lucky because we had the piano of my mother at home, and when I wanted to escape my father's education, I used to go on the piano, but she never taught me anything. Just I used to go on the piano since the age of 2 or 3, just doing like this. And from doing like this, I started doing like this, you know. And from doing like this, I started composing on piano, but in a very free, totally free way. Like we say autodidact in French, you know. So I was both educated in very strict classical traditional way, and in the same time totally autodidact on piano, which made me be kind of schizophrenic, you know. So I have two music educations totally different. So that saved me.
One could say you're pretty open-minded.
I think this helped me, yeah, because if there would have been only my trumpet education, I probably would have been I wouldn't have experienced anything else, so I wouldn't even know what it would be just to play something that you don't expect to play, like do a mistake and liking it, you know. When you're in classical music, you do a mistake, oh no, you have to do it again, and you know, it's very strict. But when you're an autodidact player, that's my case on piano, you play mistakes and you like them, and you do a mistake, oh, I think it's better than what I was expecting I was doing. So, and this is what I like in music, is that this is what I teach actually to my students when I teach them improvisation. So when I tell them the best option you can have is the option you take when you do a mistake, and then you follow the mistake you did to try to find another option. So that's basically the two ways that I think in music that helped me not to quit classical and traditional way to play classical music or Arabic traditional music, but also to have another point of view also. Right.
And we could see that you play a pretty different trumpet, an instrument which is not the common trumpet. And we could hear that it sounds oriental. So maybe you can tell us about, I think it's about quarter notes or quarter tones.
Yeah, it's what we call a microtonal trumpet.
So where does it come from?
It's an invention of my father in the beginning of the 60s. When he arrived to Paris to study with Maurice André, who was the soloist in trumpet classical music, he right away told him, okay, I want to study classical music with you, but also I would like to add a valve on the trumpet that would allow me to play quarter tones. So he did this with Selmer at first. And well, right away, many trumpet players around the world got interested in this, like Don Ellis in the United States for jazz. Even in Germany, actually, there is Markus Stockhausen who plays the flugelhorn with a quarter tone, and he plays great contemporary music. You know, and he does. So many trumpet players around the world did this, but none of them was interested in playing quarter tone trumpet for the first purpose of it, the Arabic music. So my father was kind of frustrated about that. So he taught me because he wanted me to really play this, and yeah, so there is this too.
So it's not possible to play this kind of scale or these scales with a normal instrument?
Yes, you can actually. You can, but it's you have less freedom. You can play what we call the maqams. You know, the maqams is the modes, the scales in Arabic scale. You have plenty of them. You have really, like, it's a big amount of different kind of maqams, and you put two maqams together, it creates a new one, and it's like combinations. You know, in Arabic music you don't have harmony, or very, very little harmony. So everything is about the melody, the way you bring the feeling in the melody, but there's no harmony, you know. So it's another science, you know. In in Europe we developed the harmony a lot, very much in Germany, in France, and all this. But in Arabic country, it's only about the melody. So on a regular trumpet, you can play few of the maqams. Like I would say like 4 or 5 of them you can play, with the lips, with the different fingerings. You know, you can find. But with a quarter tone trumpet, you can play all of them, and there are thousands of them. Yeah.
You left Lebanon as a very small kid, I guess, or
yes.
as a kid.
Yeah, I was very small.
And your parents moved to France. Today, so you have 2 homes, but where would you say today is your home?
Yeah, you know what? I know that this question is sometimes. I mean, quite many people actually ask this because they are, you know, it's very. Well, I was going to say it's uncommon, but no, actually, it's more and more common to have 2 homes, 2 nations, 2 identities, and but I don't feel I have a specific place as a home. The only home I have is when I'm on stage. That's the only place I feel home, honestly. And I feel very good in France. I feel very good in Lebanon. I feel very good in some parts of France, but not all. I feel very good in some parts of Lebanon, but not all. But I travel a lot for my music, so I feel, yeah, there are some places in the world where I really love to spend my time. For example, in New York, for example. New York is a crazy place because you have, Istanbul also, for example, you know. There are some places like this where, because you have a mix of people from everywhere. Cultures, yeah, and they try to find a compromise to be able to live all together with no problems, you know. And the culture inside of this is crazy because you have all influences from everywhere, you know. In New York, for example, salsa was born in New York, not in South America. You know, it was born by the South Americans in New York, you know. And there are lots of things like this, you know. For example, when I go to Istanbul in Turkey, I feel that those people in Turkey, they know better Arabic music than Arabic people. And I spend their time and I learn from the Turkish people how to play Arabic music. So this is the kind of mix that I really feel comfortable in. There are some places like this in near Paris, like Montreuil. I don't know if you've heard of Montreuil. Montreuil is very small. Actually, no, it's quite big, but compared to Paris. It's very small. It's right near Paris. There are thousands of different nationalities and people, and all the music studios are there. It's like the Harlem of Paris, you know. And I love to be there. I love to be there. I spend lots of time there.
When you were playing the piano, you learned compositions, or you taught yourself compositions. Yeah. Is it that today you're writing like compositions as we would think of classical composers write compositions?
I do that too.
Like scores and stuff?
Yeah, I write scores or for movie soundtracks or for commissions. I've been doing several commissions this year, and I have few ones next year of like what you would call a classical piece, like with orchestra and choir and Viertelton-Trompete, for example, as a soloist, and this kind of, so I have been doing this last year a few times, and this year I'm actually now composing a few things, but also composing is like what we just did, well, what we just played tonight. You know, this kind of mixing of different kind of things. All of this is for me composing. Now
we're gonna see you with Trilok Gurtu, and I asked him about the name world music, because some people today, they don't want to hear it, you know, they refuse this kind of name, world music. What about you? How do you see this? All this is very necessary, because it's like for food. I mean, if you want to eat Chinese food, you need to go to a Chinese restaurant, right? If you want to eat a pizza, you go to a pizzeria. But what's happening in music is that maybe some people would like to eat an African pizza or pasta in an Indian way. I mean, where to find this? That's the problem. So there is like a big question about that. I have nothing against the fact that you talk about world music or the jazz music, or I don't know what. It's normal. People need to have a direction, to know where to go. But when it comes to my music, I say to people, don't ask me, because I have no idea where to put my music. But it's necessary to do it. You know, you have to do it. So it's a big question. I mean, everyone is thinking about this now, especially that in the shops, some people would have said in few months, but I would say in few years, there will not be CDs anymore. So you will be only going on internet to find some music. How are they going to classify the music on internet? Are they going to put fusion, jazz, African, Indian kind? Are they going to put classical, world, electronic? I mean, if they can do that, okay, but it's going to be hell for them, you know? So I don't know. It's really a big question. I don't know what to say about that. I can say I love the music, and I'm looking forward to see you with Trilok on stage. And thank you so much, IBRAHIM MAALOuf. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.